Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 212. And away. Wait. Go.
Wait, so get a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my yard. I'm a mold raiser. Rick Flair, Nature Boy, about to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 212, New York City. I'm your host at Mugga J Putty, joined as always with the Hollywood Mark Schwann. Mark, welcome back.
You say that with such regret and disdain.
It's been a long week.
It's been
a
hey,
long
Mark,
week.
how's it going? Good to see you, buddy. Nothing at all, man. I'm always so happy to see you.
Yeah, I'm not a liar, though.
Wow.
No, I am good to see the sexy Zane himself. Eric Jaden. Eric, welcome back to the show.
You about to say sexy Mark Jaden? That's what it sounds like you're about to say.
Right? I love Jaden calling him out for that.
No, because I know it's not sane anymore. Oh my God, it's something else, and whatever. I'll just go.
I'm good, guys. I'm good. What's going on, man? This has been one crazy week, huh?
Yeah, really pretty crazy week.
Yeah.
Long week.
How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Everybody okay? Everybody
Safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am safe. I'm COVID-19 free. Took the test.
You did?
Yes.
That's right.
I drove about 45 minutes to Bumblefuck, Long Island. Walked into the place.
It was kind of Bumblefuck, Long Island. You were a town away from where I grew up, mind you. And it was on a beautiful. It was a beautiful day, and you could have easily taken a ferry to Fire Island or whatever.
And do what? Everything's closed.
Yeah.
No, you go to the beach.
Beaches are closed.
Beaches are not closed. Beaches are open on Long Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hang out.
That's where we want to go. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, this is a shot of wrestling, and quarantine has definitely hit us hard.
Yes.
I'm drinking a Bloody Mary at fucking night right now.
A Canadian Bloody Mary told me.
Oh, my God.
They call it scissors Caesars.
Scissors
in Canada.
Okay.
Eric,
did you get any calls from the Pulitzer Company about your new article coming out? You two in the bank.
That'd be great if it did.
It's fantastic. Read both of them. Great job.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. From the first one, I got a lot of great positive reviews on it, and I got a total of 86 emails.
Wow.
Sent in.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was shocked, and majority of them were about AEW. There was just a lot of questions AEW.
Course,
so I said, okay, cool. Let's make the second article about AEW. So I covered the pay-per-view and what I thought about the pay-per-view and stuff like that. So I'm up in the air right now because I'm getting a lot of questions on, again, WWE and now, believe it or not, independent stuff. So I might dive into the independent world of professional wrestling in my next article and talk about the goods, the bads, Are you
going to talk about if that's the case? Are you going to talk about it in character, or are you going to keep it real?
Well, you know what? This is my dilemma. Maybe you guys can weigh this on this. I've been keeping it semi-kayfabe, okay?
Right.
With the results and talking about the matches and stuff like that and going on. I haven't really broke fabe. If I do I haven't. So if I talk about the inner workings of independent wrestling, what we go through as a wrestler, how we try to make it to the big leagues, how we get stiff up the ass sometimes by crappy ass corny bookers.
Would that make you look bad though?
I don't know.
New York people are going to be paying attention. New York promoters are going to be paying attention to that. Do you think that could potentially cost you bookings?
If you're not a corny promoter, you shouldn't really be worried about that. You know what I'm saying?
Do you want to work with corny promoters? Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. If you're not a corny promoter, but hey, I posed that question. How do you guys think I should do that article?
I don't know. I mean, that's a very tricky slope right there.
It depends on what you want. If you want to do maybe one out of character, and then
I think it would depend. I mean, you'd have to maybe try to find a blend. That's something I've struggled with since entering the professional wrestling world. Is because I do carry on that persona of the Hollywood assassin, Mark Schwann. play up the Hollywood aspect of it, but in real life, I'm different from my character. My whole message that I put out there is to aspire to inspire, which is very not my character in the wrestling world. So
but it isn't great.
It's a hard line to balance in there.
No, it is. It is. I'm still weighing it out because the first show, I covered WWE stuff. I might just do an NXT part or article. So I'm weighing it back and forth. I have a lot of notes that I'm putting down. So I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Like the article stuff has really been a really good thing for me, therapy-wise. Because, again, we don't have, wrestling. Being on with you guys, my good friends, which I love you guys very much. So this has been really great. I love doing this. So it's keeping us busy. Yeah, it's keeping us busy. Like my therapist told me, okay, you got to keep busy. You got to keep – yes, you cannot go out and play soccer or whatever you did in the past. Or you cannot wrestle. You cannot this. But if you start to build a different type of norm, right, a different type of – she said it. Even if you go out every day for a walk the dog – that's routine. That's good for the brain.
Right, and that's something I've kept to as well. Like, when the news first hit about the quarantine, and then the things that happened with my industry, it hit me really hard. And I feel like even on this show, I was like a little bit different. I was jaded because it hurt. Like my hard work for so long, like it could possibly come to an end, and it felt like a competitor, like an athlete. Being told, hey, you have a career-ending injury.
Yeah.
You may never do this again. And in some degrees, that still hurts. But, I'm not losing that hope. I'm doing everything I can to make sure, when I get out of this, I'm better than I was going into this pandemic, going into this quarantine. So I keep to a schedule every single day, just to keep my mind right.
Yeah, it's just the best thing you could do right now. All of us, it's the best thing we could do. Just keep it. Listen, it's funny. I've deviated from the schedule I have in the morning. And it's threw me off completely. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just off. Like I said, oh my god, but you know what? It's so much stuff going on in the world.
You have to adapt.
Yeah.
If you live the same schedule every single day, then you're just a robot. Sometimes my wife, she may interrupt my schedule with something, and I just at first I'm oh my god, now my schedule's thrown off, blah blah blah. But you just have to learn to adapt. No, that's okay. This is time with my wife right now. That's okay. Be present, be in the moment. This stuff, then I'll just get to it later.
Yeah.
As long as you get to it, and that's fine. It's such as life.
No, I agree.
Eric, I know you post the article on your pages, but where can we find it? If we want to see a hard copy of it.
You know what? Honestly, I've seen them as far as Harwood Beach, all the way towards South Ozone Park area. That's where I've seen them.
Does the amount of copies purchased hit you at all? Does it matter? Does it equal readership, or does it you have any effect on your standing at the paper?
No, because right now what is happening is they asked me if I had feedback from it, and I have. Okay. And I had different group administrators from wrestling that I share it on, and they're telling me they're getting a lot of feedback. It's all positive. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of likes. Excellent. So, right now would be the best bet for me is if the fans email the Rockaway Times, and tell them how their feedback on it, if they're happy with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they're gonna. That's how I'm gonna continue doing it. If they get feedback from people, say, hey, this is great, because you know what, we're gonna talk about some certain stuff today, right? We're gonna talk about what's happening in the world. So this last article, when I talked to my editor, I said, hey, I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world because they covered protests, they covered all the stuff going on in the world. But my article was that part to just get everybody's mind away from it. You know what I'm saying? So they liked it because I didn't know how to approach it. I said, hey, everybody, I hope everybody's safe. I didn't know how to approach how to start it. I ended it, please stay safe. But she said, don't worry about it. Leave it like that because you're that break of all the bad news. Yeah. Right. So that's how we keep it. And we definitely need it right now. But if the fans out there, you guys, everybody who knows me wants to email the Rockaway Times, please do. Tell them that you like it, and then they'll keep me employed, for once a week. On there.
So make sure you guys email the Rockaway Times. We say you want more Eric Jaden. Who are the
I want to see a pic of Eric Jaden on there too next time.
Yeah.
I know, me too. I'm getting that. I got emails. How come your picture's on it? Listen, I'm just happy I'm there.
Baby steps.
Get the picture. Yeah. Come on, you want to see pictures? I got plenty on my Facebook account.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah.
So last week we ended the
Yes.
show. Mark touched on everything going on in the world, and I was watching it live as these riots were breaking out. Well, spoiler alert, that didn't go away this past 7 days. So I don't know if you guys were aware of this. So how about we get into some news this week?
It's time for In the News with Michael J. Putty and Mark Schwab.
All right, so listen, I know we have a normal format for the show and everything. Usually, we start off with the intro chat and then we go right into the news. Listen, with all that's been going on, we just briefly touched on it before. It feels wrong. It feels absolutely wrong to go about this as a normal episode, as a normal show, because there's just too much to talk about. It's even impacting the wrestling world, and it impacts all of us in different ways. With the protests right now, with the riots, and with what happened with George Floyd, and just our country just being absolutely torn apart right before our eyes. And it's sad to see. Each and every single day, we turn on the news, or wherever we go on social media, and we just see more and more bad news. We just see these tragedies that come before us, and all the whole time we're looking for a leader, and we're looking for someone to bring us together. And I think it would be ill-advised for us to just go about this normal show. We as human beings, we need to talk about this. I think we should address this. And that's why I want to open up the floor to you guys, talking about how it may have impacted you and what you're seeing and how it's relating to wrestling.
I guess I'll lead off, guys. It's horrible. It's horrible that we don't have a leader right now to unify, bring us together, to help bring all the races together to solve these problems that we're living through right now. Systemic racism is something that's not only local, it's not national, it's worldwide, okay? And we do have to sit down and talk about it. And we do need some forms of police reforms, just to make, just to not have these incidents happen back to back. And it's unfortunate. And Mr. Floyd, God bless his soul. I wish the man was still alive. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's watching this now and he's seeing all this destruction and violence, and this is not about that. And unfortunately, a lot of bad people, where you're antagonists, whether you're whatever, and you know what I'm saying, in that aspect, have.
See, I am sorry to cut you off, Jim, okay. But I do have mixed feelings about that because I am not for looting. I'm not for crime. Mm-hmm. I'm not for violence. I'm not for any of that. I want to be that. I want to be straight with you right now about this.
Sure.
But there is so much outrage. There's just so much of it. Years and years and years of oppression and trying different ways to have their voices heard, and it's all for nothing. And in the middle of a pandemic, you have multiple cases of innocent Black people being killed from the police. Or some sort of vicious violence that goes on during a pandemic. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like me being partly Hispanic, growing up in an ultra white neighborhood, I had very small cases of racism and discrimination towards me, but nothing to this extent. Nothing where I felt attacked. And felt oppressed on a day-to-day basis, felt like I had to change my lifestyle, change my actions, just because someone else is white. I've never felt that way before. And I'm not going to pretend to sit here and say I do. Okay. But, I can only imagine feeling that pressure, feeling all that, and feeling that desperation. What do I do? And I think that's what we're seeing here. I think that's what we're seeing. Just like people are outraged. They're fed up. They're desperate. And don't get me wrong, I know there's other things going on too with these extremists and these anarchy movements are getting involved. These bots taking advantage of these opportunities. I know there's opportunities out there, but at the same time, when you see that going on, you're an angry person. What are you going to do? You don't know.
I agree with you 100%. You're an angry person. What do? Do you resort on destroying your own neighborhood? Do you resort to beating other people up? Do you resort to violence? Okay. Do you follow the creed by all means? You know what I'm saying? or what do you do? You know what I'm saying? There's so much that's out there. If you ask me what I would do, I say, peaceful protest. That's my route.
That's the logical way.
That's
the logical way to go. That's the logical way to go. Of course.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what else I would do? Okay. Go out there, and the most simplest, biggest thing in the world, vote. Let's vote, people. Let's vote. Okay. Hold on, Mark. I know you got to say something. Hold on. You know why? I just saw a poll about how people felt about the violence and the protests, right? And the poll asked them, what would you do? 80%, Mark, 80% of the people who complained, and said, this is wrong, okay? None of them voted. None of them got involved. 80%. Never.
That's a large number.
That's a large number. You know what I'm saying? So if we're not well educated enough to say, hey, let's start to find candidates. Let's start to find people from out that know that what we gone through. Okay, here's my upbringing, and you guys know it. Okay, and MJP grew up in the same neighborhood. I grew up right below the middle class. Okay, I grew up. We were never hungry, but I grew up with public assistance. I grew up on government cheese and the chocolate milks that we talk about all the time, and the school lunches. And it's summertime, and summertime when that fire hydrant was open and it was 90 degrees, Mark, we went outside. That was our heaven. That was beautiful. We felt so good. That water felt so good. To go back to a house with no air conditioning and just fans, because just the fans blew out the hot air. We need to have people that understand that, okay? We need that. If we're not putting people in office that understand what the people go through, what the working class people go through, where's the change? I can't rely on somebody who was the son of a senator, and then he got elected, but he's never gone through anything. Not to say that he won't do a good job, okay? But we right now, unfortunately, hey, Mark, I'm going to say this right now because, you know how I am about my own party. We got a lot of super old, past their time white dudes in government that need to go, okay? They spend their time. They did. And I used to support those people, Mark. I used to support those people, okay? Because when I was young and the Republican Party was around and I joined it, boy, my brain was brainwashed and I drank that Kool-Aid, okay?
Oh, me and you both, though.
I drank that Kool-Aid.
We've talked about this before off the air, and we have similar views as far as politics go, and we were both Republicans like loud and proud, but ever since this administration took over and the things have gone on over the years, like it's just I personally can't call myself a Republican. I personally want nothing to do with that party. I almost want to go back to like when I first registered to vote and register as a party to bitch slap myself because I am just so appalled to what it's become. It's just, this is not what we signed up for. It's completely something else. It was bait and switch. But going to touch on your point you're talking about before, because I could talk politics all day long, and then I think that gets off from the topic here in a way. When you go to talk about November, go to vote, my fear is like it's going to be too late. Because I have to say, so I'm going to call out my town. I'm going to call out my hometown I grew up in, West Islip. Right, I grew up West Islip my whole life pretty much. It's a town on Long Island. They have a nickname called White Islip for a very good reason. Because I'll just say this: I was the closest thing I had to color growing up. Right, and I am not black by any means. I'm quarter Spanish probably, but I look it. So I was very different. So there was a protest. There was a protest in West Islip this past week. Over 1,000 people there, I would say, or close to it. And the revolt from the town itself was disgusting. There were people commenting saying that they want to run people over. There were people saying that we're armed and we have guns to get off our property, to get out of our town. And someone did actually try to run over these protesters who were very peaceful. They're very peaceful. They I have to commend them. Their voices were heard. They did so in a respectful way. There was no looting. There was no anything going on, no breaking of property. But this one individual from West Islip, from my town, I'm calling you out. You tried to run over innocent people because they were voicing their expression. They were trying to express their feelings on like the injustice that's going on to the world and how there needs to be change. I think that's sad. I think that's sad that's going on. I think it's crazy. And then, like, you know, you see it even in the wrestling world. You know, we have some great fans who are black, and we have some phenomenal talent that are black. You know, and then you hear someone like Sunny, Putty, I'm calling your girl out. You know, saying what she said.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you've worked with a lot of these people.
Yes.
How can you do that? How can you say what you say and then try to defend yourself and back it up and belittle other people?
Listen, if I could go ahead.
Go ahead because it just baffles me. So
no, it does because I'm going to table off of that on there as a professional wrestler myself. Okay, I got on social media and I've seen so many people comment. Right, so many. Okay, many people that all three of us know we have worked with. I have worked with in the ring, in promotions, and again, I respect everybody's opinion. I really do. I've done for many years. I give everybody consideration, and it's just sad to see some of the people that I know advocate the violence, advocate the destruction, and wish death upon police officers and other people. Wish death upon myself.
And that's the other side of it too. That's the other side that we need to talk about as well. Because you know what, I honestly believe, like, listen, like Jaden, I know your history. You know, working in law enforcement. I have plenty of good friends that are police officers. One of my good friends growing up, you know, he was actually was the officiant at my wedding, and very good man. You know, I call him a very good friend of mine. So, you know, I believe there are so many good police officers out there, but, you know, it's just unfortunate that, you know, the few of them that are bad are the ones that we think about. I don't necessarily think every police officer needs to die or lose their job. You know, I don't think that's not the answer, in my opinion.
No, it's not. But you know what? It's going to be a very, very tense and difficult mood when pro wrestling comes back, because right now only the major companies are running. No independent or regional companies are running. No ROHs are running. No New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, none of that stuff. So basically, when those promotions come back, okay, and we're a wrestling show, so we're going to talk about a wrestling topic. How's the locker room going to be? What's the tension going to be?
I can imagine.
How's the mood? Yeah.
I mean, like from what I could tell with the Forgotten Sons, I forgot which wrestler it was. It was Riker, right? Yeah. Who tweeted about the support for Trump and he's doing a great job, blah, blah, blah. I forget exactly what the exact tweet was, but it was just it was, again, tone deaf. Yeah. It was tone deaf, his tweet. And from what I'm hearing, it's causing a lot of waves in that locker room. Some people have spoke out about it vocally on social media. I think Kevin Owens was one of them that was very outspoken about what Riker said. But then, like, you know, there are a lot of others that didn't necessarily voice out publicly, but are feeling a certain way. And he apparently is nuclear with him. And it's a shame because you have two other individuals with him with Forgotten Sons, and that's going to feel that same heat.
Yeah, they are. You know, unfortunately. And then how do we as wrestling talent are going to react to those people? Because one of our things that in our business is that, you know, at every show we shake everybody's hand. Okay. And you know that we all do
it. It's a big thing about respect. Yeah,
it's a big thing of respect. But like, how would I feel that somebody just to advocate in my death, and then he comes to the show, hey, Jaden, let me, you know, how you doing, brother? How would I feel? How do I react to that? Do I shake the man's hand, right? Do I do the proper thing? Or do I say, you know what? I don't ever want to talk to you ever again. It's just going to cause so many problems. And then do I act angry? Because maybe acting angry won't be the point. Maybe it just continues to add fuel to the fire. Do wrestlers now in locker rooms are going to take sides? Are they going to not change together? It's going to be very interesting. I want to find that when wrestling comes back, when wrestling's on pause, that we come to a locker room united, you know, with a common cause. But you know what? I don't know if that's going to happen, guys. I really don't. And JP, what do you think about this?
It's hard. I mean, it's hard for me to put into words what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. You know, I was one of those guys when the first Black Lives Matter came out. I was one of those guys that said all lives matter, right?
Yes.
And then I was watching I think it was a late night talk show, and there was some guy on it, and he just simply broke it down in a way, and the light bulb went off. I'm like, oh yeah, that does sound stupid. And since then, I got it. I got what Black Lives Matter. Randy Orton put it in a tweet. Black lives.
I was going to say Randy Orton put it perfectly. Yeah.
All lives can't matter until Black lives do, and that was another simplistic way of putting it. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
A lot of people are repeating those same words that Randy Orton has said since that are non-wrestling related. Because that was, of all people, Randy Orton, right? Yeah. to put it so eloquently.
Very eloquently, yeah.
It just makes so sense. It's like a light bulb clicks off. It's like, yeah, he's right. All lives cannot matter until Black lives matter.
And I'm going to sound really stupid here, so I apologize. Maybe it's the way I was brought up. Maybe I'm very naive. Maybe I'm very simple. But, like, Mark's a big fan of AEW, right? I don't watch it. I don't hate it. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm a WWE guy. Mark's an AEW guy. We disagree. We can't agree on things. I hate you. Fuck you. You're an asshole. Right? I just can't wrap my head around hating somebody for the color of their skin. They didn't choose to be black. You know what I'm saying? I just understand hating somebody, looking down on somebody because their parents' skin color was a certain color. And that's something I just never understood. I'm like, why are you hating on this guy? Because he doesn't look like you? Do you hear yourself? Do you see how stupid that sounds when you step away?
The hate for it to go that deep, where you kill someone during a pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah. Not even a pandemic.
You put your knee on the back of their neck, suffocating them for 8 minutes. 8 minutes and change.
I understand that putting the knee in the back is a way to subdue the guy, but the guy was on the ground, handcuffed, saying he can't breathe. Like, I don't want to watch the video. I watched clips of it. I can't watch the whole thing. But I was watching TV over the weekend. Comedy Central, I knew a couple of those stations, ran the full 8.5 minutes or 9 minutes, whatever it was. And all it said was, I can't breathe. The guy breathing said, I can't breathe for 9.5 minutes, uninterrupted. I'm like, wow. Like, at what point do you get up? At what point did the other three guys say, all right, enough's enough, he's good? I just don't understand. And I was watching Conan O'Brien. I'm a big fan of Conan O'Brien. And the whole week he had prominent black voices on to discuss the situation. And one of them was a good friend of his, Sam Richardson. He was on Veep. I don't know if you guys watch Veep. He's a very funny young man. And he was talking about how this isn't new to him. And one story that stuck out to me was he was telling a story when he was 12 years old. He was in, I think, Target or Walmart, one of those stores. And all of a sudden, he got surrounded by the manager. The cops came. He was held into the office. And he said, I know what you did. You stole something. You're going to go to jail. Confess right now. And he had no clue what they were talking about. So long story short, they went to the video, and there's a video of him putting a watch in his pocket. So they thought he stole a watch. The story was, if you watch the whole video, the cops watched the whole video, he was wearing the watch, took it off to try on a baseball glove. But all the manager saw was a black guy putting a watch in his pocket.
Wow.
And I'm like, why?
So it was his own watch that he was putting in his pocket.
He took off himself, put it in his pocket because he wanted to try, and he was 12 years old. He was a kid. Again, it goes back to just because he's looks different than you, I don't understand.
So someone put it best. I forgot who it was, but it was a black man talking to his white friends, talking to white people in general about what they go through, and he put it so perfectly. It just clicked for me. Picture that you're in a race, right? It's you against someone else. It says go, but now you're held back for 200 meters. So the other person has a 200-meter head start on you, and then you're told finally you can go. It is impossible to catch up to that person. It is impossible, and that's the fortunate thing that what happened when black people got certain rights. When they were freed. When they were able to vote and all that. Like everything that happened, it was just so delayed back. White people had hundreds of years of head start.
Yep.
And it was the moment black people started getting more rights in the United States and were deemed equal. That was not the case. How can it be equal when there was 200 years maybe a head start? I don't know. I don't know all the years, but it's just insane. And there's so much work that needs to be done in this country to make this right. It's just so deeply rooted in our country.
It's also bad timing because you have these protests and these riots going on. What was it just 3 weeks ago when these prominently white community, people, the guys who carried the AK-47s, carried the Confederate flags, generalizing, stereotyping here, were protesting that they wanted to go to Applebee's. They wanted a haircut. The government can't tell me what I want to do with my bodies. And they were literally getting in the faces and screaming into the police department. The police did nothing. They let them protest however they wanted to protest. And now you flip the coin to see what we're seeing now. It's like people posting pictures side by sides of the white people getting in the cops' faces and the black people getting in the cops' faces. And it's, surprise, surprise, completely different outcome.
Totally.
It's just
totally different outcome.
It's just amazing. It's just, I don't understand. Again, I can't wrap my head around it.
And then in some of those rallies that you talk about from the protests to open up the country again, you see KKK flags or you see Confederate flags going on in there. They had automatic rifles. And they even showed up to a governor's house, surrounded his house. They tried to barge into Michigan.
Michigan,
They tried to barge in there, and they, in one case, they put out a life-size body of one of the leaders, put the face on, and lynched it on a tree. But that's okay. There's no riot police. There's no batons.
None.
There's no curfews.
None.
There was none of that. But now, there's social injustice in the world, and since the black man is speaking up, now we have a problem, apparently.
Someone also saying how, JFK was a big proponent of civil rights. LBJ was known to be somewhat of a racist, but he was a big prominent supporter of civil rights. He met with Martin Luther King all the time. He passed the Civil Rights Act. Although he had his personal feelings, he understood that blacks should be equal. He doesn't understand that they should have civil rights. And someone was saying, these black people right now, they don't have that leader in the White House. They don't have somebody who has their back in government and leadership right now.
No.
It's like
there's no leader right now.
The Rock said it perfectly. I don't know if anyone saw that 8-minute video.
I think we all saw it by now. But yeah.
The Rock. If you haven't, you need to, because what he said was so profound. I've never seen anything like this before from The Rock, personally. I've never known him to speak out about politics. I've never seen him just look so pissed.
Yeah.
And it was controlled pissed, as you can see in there. And the whole theme of it is, where are you? Where are you?
I was telling you, he's a Republican. And we need more Republicans calling out the Republican leadership, saying, "What are you doing?"
Listen, I can jump on that bandwagon. We need more Republicans to step up to the plate. I'm sorry. I know I can get very critical. I know I can get very vocal about stuff, but I really believe that the current Republican leadership and the current Republican elected officials shouldn't even be called Republicans. It should be called the Private Interest Party. Because again, where are they? Where are they? I mean, really? You're not stepping up to the plate. You're not seeing the injustices going on. You're not saying, hey, you know what? I don't support this. No.
It's almost like they're afraid that they're going to lose their base. It's almost like they're afraid that they're going to, it's almost like they know that the KKK backed them. They know that the racists backed them. Or they know, people are for, actually, I'm sorry, with the police unions. They backed them up. They're afraid. They're so afraid to lose their backing, to lose their footing in this, to lose any chance they possibly have in the modern world to run for office, to be a leader in this world. And I'm using the term leader very loosely here because I haven't seen any leadership from the Republican Party other than maybe Mitt Romney. And I'm using that loosely as well.
Yeah, the only man who stepped up to the plate, really, basically, who said, you know what? No, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? This goes against morals. This will go against what we're supposed to be right. It's just, it's sickening, guys. It pisses me off so much. Like what's being allowed to happen, like you said, with the armed protesters and all the indifferences and again, systemic racism is so alive in our country that we need to stop. And I'll tell you a touching story about this. I read it, and I'm trying to. I reached out to the news outlets that reported the area that was destroyed. Okay, pretty much destroyed, decimated over on there. A little girl, a little African American girl. She worked at her mother's salon. The girl is 5 years old. The mother, she used to bring her, and she used to sweep the hair. Right, small salon, nothing big, destroyed, and she said to her mother, "Mom, I made the $20. I want to go buy the doll." And the fucking store is burned down. No. And she goes, "But why, Mommy? Why?" She said, "I worked for why is it not there? I just want to buy a doll, a little girl." Guys, it fucking brings me to tears that this is how where we have ended up. A little girl just wanted to buy a fucking doll, guys, and her mother's salon was destroyed. Why? Collateral damage is okay?
Yeah, right.
Is that what we're preaching in the world right now? Little girl, and I swear to God, if I find out, I'm sorry. If I find out who she is, I'm going to send her $100. and I'm sorry, I almost choked up because it was a little girl. A little African American girl. Well, why did they burn down my mommy's shop? And why can I go buy this doll? She worked. Her mother paid her $1 a day because she wanted to buy her own doll. Don't buy it for me, Mommy. I'll work for you. Now she can't get it. Why? Collateral damage, okay? Or for all the people who advocated that this was right. Look at the collateral damage that's left. A lot of stuff is wrong in this world. And this is what happens.
That's what the thing with alluding to is just like these small businesses that are being looted are the ones that are hurting the most out of all of this. And it's bad enough that they're going through the pandemic. It's bad enough that they've been losing business, a crucial business. You look at a company like Macy's, and I'm sure they're hurting, but nowhere near the boutique shops and the small businesses that we have in the local communities out there. And on top of this, they're getting looted, they're getting burned down, and there's no way for them to open back up. And their hard work, their dreams, their desires, and what they had for their kids, that's sad. And not to say losing property, to lose a business is worse than losing a life. I'm not saying that. It's just all around. We've lost it. We've lost it completely as a culture, as a society. It's just gotten down to this, where it's just chaos. There's chaos out there. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rationale. There's no listening. There's nothing. It seems like. And I know a lot of the big companies they're putting out their statements and all, but I think it's just more to put out a statement. I think action needs to be done. I want to try to bring it back to wrestling as much as I can here. WWE made a statement actually about this as well. I'm sure you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about WWE's statement about this? Do you feel it was just words that were a little too late? I was surprised to see that me personally, I felt like they dragged their feet a bit.
No, I don't think so. I think it had to be made. They made it. I don't think it was too late. I think if they didn't say anything, it would look bad, but they had to say something. I'm happy they did. It was well worded, well put together. I think if they did it too soon, it would look weird. If they did it too late, it would look bad. I think the timing was right.
Fair enough. Jaden, what do you think? I think
opposite, MJP. I think that they should have maybe done it a little earlier. I think right now companies like them, and Amazon and Uber, it's like they're doing it because they realize that if they don't, they're losing out on a big segment of their money, which is coming from blacks and minorities.
It seemed like all these major companies were just waiting for the first one to do it, which one had the balls to do it. And I have to say, you look at someone like Ben and Jerry's, very profound statement that they made, and you could tell that was some real shit that they were saying. WWE, I love WWE. I want more than words. I would hope more than words from them. I get it. Vince McMahon is friends with Donald Trump. I get that. But, fuck politics. Fuck all that. Look at the people that you have in your roster. You made Kofi Kingston not too long ago your world heavyweight champion, a black man who was in your company for 11 years. You have some rising talent in there. You have Bianca Belair. You have the Street Profits. You have a long history of black wrestling. You had The Rock, he's one of the biggest characters you've had in wrestling, who is part black. You need more action. Words are just words. What do you do? What do you do here? I would love to see something from WWE.
Yeah. I'd like to see them do more. I just think that right now you're right, Mark. It's just words. What do you do? What do you do? I can say, Mark, you can say it, MJP can say, Black Lives Matter, we support it. And then that's it. We're done. Right. What do you do? What do we do as individuals to make sure that we take the steps that hopefully stuff like this doesn't happen again? What do big corporations do? You know what I'm saying? And in the WWE, you have a lot of minorities in the WWE who are top stars. Okay? A lot. Where it never used to be. Okay? What do you do? You're right. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here as a world, as a community, as a wrestling community? What do we do? Where do we go? And that keeps me up at night, guys. Sometimes just thinking, what can we do to make this world better in all aspects?
I think about that myself. I have a small following. I'm not necessarily a Tom Cruise actor, but I am an actor. I do have a voice. I think every day, what I can do. And I've reflected back, especially during this pandemic, just not really much else I can do as far as go outside in the world. But, I think back, to anything that I may have said, or any of my previous thoughts or anything like that at all. And I think, man, what can I do? What are things I could do to be a better person, to be a better brother to society? And, it's tough to think about it. It's little things I could do right now, man. Like, obviously we all know I'm broke right now. I'm not getting any money from the acting world. So it's not like I can even donate really, but like, I do have a small platform. I do have a small voice that I can use, and I'm trying to promote awareness for this. I have done work as an actor showing basically a light on the subject in a web series called Freedom that I've done. So there's small things that I've been trying to do, but you see these bigger companies out there. You see these bigger celebrities, but whether they're wrestling figures, whether they're celebrities in their own right, and actors or singers or what have you, politicians, they have a bigger voice. They have more money. They have more resources. And, we do look at them to maybe take more action if it's something they genuinely believe in. And at a time like this, when humanity, when we're supposed to be bonded together by what's going on, you would hope that more people would step up.
Yes, you do. You do. I could real quick. I contribute to like when we were still going through the pandemic, but when we were in the I guess in the hot zone of the pandemic, the middle stages, right? And everybody was posting on Our Lookout TV, and the actors, please stay home, please stay home. It's very easy for you to say that, to stay home when you live in a mansion and you have pools and you have it like a play yard. Okay, not a lot of us have that.
8
so
rooms,
when you're exactly. So when you're privileged enough, okay. Like the people who have it, like you said, Mark, we're working class people. We're trying to make something of ourselves, trying to live a dream, But when you reach those levels, please don't just put out a commercial that says, please stay safe, please stay home. Do something. I was happy when I saw, I think it was the Patriots owner that sent all the 100,000 of masks down to New York City. And all these other people who flew stuff, okay? And the Mark, I'm sorry, who's the owner of that?
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Him doing things, having his private plane, sending food, sending stuff like that. That is what you do when you have the means to do it. Okay?
You have the means to do it. You be a leader. You be a leader in this world.
Yes.
You set the example. Especially when so many people follow you, they'll listen to you.
Yeah, they do. I don't have it like that, but you know what I do, Mark? I go out and feed the homeless. Okay, that's what I do. That's my part. That's what I contribute to help things go. And then you know what I'm going to do also? I'm going to try to find the right candidates. I'm going to vote for the right people that can go up there and make change. That's what I would do.
Amen.
Eric talked about the story with the little black girl saving money to buy a doll.
Yes.
It reminded me of a video I saw recently of a little girl. I'm not sure it was a concert or a picnic. It was in the park, a little black girl, maybe 2 years old, giving away hugs to everybody. Like she would just walk up to people and give, like if they were sitting down, she would tap them on the shoulder and give them a hug.
That's awesome. Blacks,
whites, Asians, Spanish, no matter what. And it reminded me of this picture I saved on my phone. I looked at the date. I saved this February in 2013. I have this picture on my phone for 7 years now. It's a quote. It's a quote from Dennis Leary, funny comedian. He goes, "Racism isn't born, folks. It's taught. I have a 2-year-old son. Know what he hates? Naps. End of lists." I just understand. Like
that's well said.
It's true.
You see all these kids who are hugging each other, and they don't give a shit what you look like. So it is something that is taught, and hopefully it ends sooner rather than later. Because
it goes into that video that I also saw where there was a little African American kid who I guess when I get from the video he was away, right? Yeah. Maybe he was sick for a couple of days. And then when he came back, and I believe they were 5 years old, like a kindergarten class. The little African American kid came back, and all the kids ran and they all hugged each other. Yeah. And I said, "Wow," you know what I'm saying? Color didn't matter. They missed. Oh, we missed you. How you been? Just they were talking to each other.
Yeah. Right. I saw a picture.
And they're saying, I love that, and I wish the world could be like that, but it's not, guys. It's not.
It's not just in our country either. It's not just with black people. There's racism all around. You look. You can look even like my mom is from Peru, so I go to Peru a lot, and not necessarily black people, but there are people of darker color, that are Spanish or Peruvian in this case, and they're pretty much isolated to the mountains in these little huts.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know, you look around, like, you know, you look and see what happens with China and Hong Kong. You look around and you see what's going on in the Middle East. You look around and see in Africa. You look around and just see everywhere. It's worldwide, and it's not just black and white. It's hate. It's just so deep. And for what? For what? I mean, hell, we could even look. This month is Gay Pride Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The hate that's towards gay people. For what? Why? Do it World War II. The Jews, the hate, almost a whole race eliminated from this earth.
Yes.
Close.
Very
close.
Yeah. No.
Hate is powerful. Hate can divide. Hate can destroy our world. And I think it's up to us, you know, the good people in this world, to speak up and say no more. No more hate. Let's put an end to this.
We need love. We need positivity. And it's a great week to have this interview, Mark, with Brother Greatness.
Yes. Brother Greatness, I mean, as you said, Putty, you know, I've had my own personal issues with him in BWF. So it was very interesting to have that dynamic with him in this interview. But if there's any interview that's important for us to have right now, it is Brother Greatness, a man of the faith. And you're going to see more of that in this interview here.
All right, everyone, what is up? It is me, your favorite actor, the Hollywood assassin, Mark Schwann. And this is a little awkward for me. Usually I'm very professional, and I'm going to do my best to keep it together here. Never interviewed someone I despised before, but here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the BWF Cruiserweight Champion, Brother Greatness.
Hallelujah and amen. Thank you so much, Brother Mark. I'm glad we're able to sit down together, break bread via podcast together, and become closer as individuals and brothers on a spiritual level right here on a shot of rest. There's this beautiful.
I must have been quarantined for way too long to agree to do this.
Love it. So excited to sit here and talk to you, my brother.
How have you been holding up?
Things have been good on my side. It's a lot of praying, a lot of working out, and a lot of eating food. Just trying to gain weight and just pray for the people who are taking a lot of losses. You know, a lot of people have passed, regrettably. Obviously, a lot of people have recovered, thank the Lord, and just trying to stay focused on the positive versus the negative.
Absolutely. Well, Brother Greatness, putting our personal feelings aside here, I've been paying attention to what you've been doing, and I see you've been holding prayer services and everything during this time. And I think that is actually amazing what you're doing there. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I did 3 of them so far. And the first one was it's just something I felt like I really needed to do just because there was a lot of people reaching out to me just saying, hey, listen, I'm not spreading this all over the planet, but, my sister has COVID, my brother, my friend, all these people were sick. And a lot of people kept it to themselves. A few people reached out to me like, hey, pray for me. And I tend to get that a lot in general. Someone just says, pray for me. Privately, it's what it is. But a lot of people reached out. Personally, I was struggling with what was going on with Alfred.
Right.
Alfred Parsard. I just felt like the first time I did, I just said, hey, maybe doing this live might be helpful. They say in the Bible, when 2 and 3 are gathered together, an agreement of a thing, that thing will be done in the name of the Lord. I'm kind of paraphrasing the verse a little bit, but
right. The first time you did that was like right when the news got out about Alfred, right?
Yeah. It was around the same time.
Yeah, and that hit the indie wrestling community pretty hard because anyone that's worked with Alfred just knows he's just such a good guy. Someone's a pleasure to be around, and he's hardworking. And to see that happen to him, and you see the picture, the visual of him, like struggling with that, it's one thing to hear about it, but to see it, it just really it throws you off.
Yeah, no, it was terrible, know, and outside the ring, he's legitimately my best friend. We're at each other's houses all the time. We know each other's families. Both our mothers love each other. Like it's a whole thing. So it was rough. I'm not gonna say it's the roughest thing going on. I knew a few people who lost their parents and all that kind of stuff. But it was just that specific one kind of hit home for a lot of people. And Alfred also was always pray for me. I was like, you know what? Let's just put it out for the world to see. And that's how the first one happened. The second one was a member of his family reached out to me when Alfred was looking really, really dark and straight up said, hey, can you do this? Do what you did again on Facebook Live, please. And in the midst of my crying, I tried to do it. Had family in my home. We all live in a big complex. So some family come into my section of the home and just kind of help me get through. And then the third one, which not as many people were on, was just thanking God for getting Alfred through, getting a lot of people through, and just praying that the people who took a loss, that their souls would still be all right. The idea of it is well with my soul despite everything going on. So it's been rough and it's turbulent, and doing those prayers isn't something I enjoy doing per se. Right. It takes a lot,
but it works.
I feel like it's helpful.
It definitely worked. You see, his recovery, Alfred's recovery. Granted, yes, there have been lives that have been lost, but it does help people go through these troubling times. Even if you're not ultra religious during these times, so you do want to turn to something or some sort of faith or some sort of belief, and that's what religion is about. And it's good that you were able to be there for these people. And it sounds like maybe even for yourself.
Yeah, it was just so multifaceted, and it's very interesting that a 20-30 minute Facebook Live video could make people feel together even though they aren't. So I don't know, it's just powerful. I'm just glad that everyone had each other's back. Even when you look through the comments, it's just a lot of people loving on each other and being vulnerable. It really had nothing to do with me. It's just people coming together and reaching out to the Most High, whether they're Christian, Muslim, atheist, who cares? Like, all of us just taking those energies and just bringing it out to the universe and just saying, like, we're humble, we're here, and we just want to grow and be better together. Like, it's important.
Have you always been this spiritual?
It's always been waves and levels, but my family, my great-grandfather was a pastor, so it's almost like a family thing at this point. I really got more into it when I had my own personal struggles when I was younger, and I argued a lot about like little things like how's Adam and Eve here? They had 2 kids. How are there a bunch of more kids? This doesn't make sense, Bible. Like, I was one of those people. I was the skeptic child Christian, asking too many questions, being aggravated. And at some point I realized that if you're going to live a life on this plane, like, even if you don't believe there's something greater, which I do, but at that time I was struggling with it. It's like, what kind of life are you living? What do you want from your life? And when I started realizing what I wanted equated, at least on a personal level, to what's being taught in Christianity and several other religions, that's when it started kind of clicking. Like, wait a second, I want to be good. I want to be joyful. I want to do something greater than myself. I want to serve others. Like, that's the kind of person I want to be. And in my journey and thinking about switching, like converting to another religion and such, I realized that, at least for me with Christianity, Jesus as my Lord and Savior connected with me in a different way than everything else. So that's kind of where everything spiked right before college.
Right off the bat, when you start wrestling, did you know right away this is something you want to incorporate into your character?
I was very unsure. I was all over the place. I wanted to be just a Bayesian wrestler. You see all the blue and yellow colors. I was going to use my accent, put it on a little more than I need to, talk about mango and flying fish and all kind of thing. But I don't know, like, throughout my first run, I was in a group called Omega Black. It was very Black Power focused, that kind of thing, led by Greg Jones, of all people, actually. And after my injuries, I never really got to be Brother Greatness. I had the cross, but there was no hallelujahs, there was no dancing, no colors. I was just, part of the stable. So when I got hurt and came back and then finally worked for Bronco, and then, that whole group, first person you think of is Bronco, right?
WWF, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But when I started working over there, no one's telling me to be a part of a group. I'm not managing anyone. There's no one's saying, hey, this is what you're doing. They just said, oh, yeah, you're wrestling today. So this is what you got. Figure it out. And I was like, great. So I just got to be me. And coming off the head injury, I never thought I was going to wrestle again. So the first thing I'm thinking is my wrestling must be for Christ. So boom, that just goes straight to that. Otherwise, you would have seen a much more confused young man trying to throw mangoes at the crowd, probably.
But, your character exploded. I mean, it's not necessarily a gimmick for you. I mean, yes, it's you, but it's you times 10. And obviously, the fans gravitate towards that because you have a personal connection to this character.
Yes, it's really barely one. You ask anyone who talks to me outside of a show, like I'm not, neither myself nor the character tries to play like we're the perfect Christian or anything like that. We're just trying to live a very fun life and just make it for Christ. That's all it is. And everyone can see that it's a fact. Like you don't have to speak to me to know, like, no, he's not just kind of doing this. Like there's more behind it. You can tell.
You obviously, your theme music. I've hit you up before on the side. It's too damn catchy almost. Like I catch myself like your song stuck in my head. Like, God damn it, Brother Greatness. How did that come to be though? Was that something your own doing? Did someone help you out with the music? Because a part of your character is the music. I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. And not to be petty, I just wish more wrestlers kind of did what I'm about to explain. I hate hearing a song and having an emotional connection to something else when I'm trying to watch a wrestler. like what are we doing here, guys? Well, I'm hearing the Family Matters theme. Like I want to focus on you, not her.
Yeah, unless that is the character.
Well, that's different, But for me, I used to come out to Kurt Franklin's Revolution. Awesome song, do you want a revolution? And but my thought process was, copyrights.
Exactly.
That's my first thought. It's terrible for every promoter trying to put up your stuff to have to see a big copyright claim pop up. So, I asked a friend of mine, my friend Corey Douglas. He's one half of a production group called Provider. They're up and coming, trying to do their thing. And back in 2013, before I hurt myself, I was speaking to him. I said, listen, I need theme music. He's not a wrestling fan. He's like, what are you talking about?
Theme music for what?
He's so confused. And I'm like, listen, I just need you to make some really high energy Christian music, like something you'd hear at the beginning of a song service when the praise team comes out, like something just da 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 da. Is that exact sound I made from? And he goes, all right, cool, I got you. And about a month later, he sends me 3 different versions of the same Greatness song, and I literally use all 3 of them just randomly, like I never think about it. So there's 3 different versions of the Greatness song, and they all play randomly, especially at BWF. I never know which track they're using.
That's interesting. I feel like, do they all sound like similar? Because I never noticed like
it's remastered versions of the exact same beats. Like the first one's rougher. Yeah, one of them has like an extra like a little extra snare drum. Like so they're all a little different.
Huh. Wow. I feel like my mind is blown right now. next shows I'm gonna have to like figure that out which one's which.
It's like, what's going on here? If you hear the snare drum, that's when you know that's the best one.
But it's funny, with the entrance songs, the most iconic ones, within like the first note or two, you just know right away who that is. Like you hear the gong, and right away who you think of, the Undertaker.
Taker, yeah.
And I hear the one beat from yours, and right away I just know Brother Greatness. So obviously it helps with the marketing, it helps with your brand. So kudos to you, man. I mean, that definitely helps complete the package.
Not everyone's going to get signed. I don't know if I ever will, but I think it's very important that what we're doing on this level for these fans, I really feel like it's important for us to give it the best that we have. If you have the access to music, everyone's coming out to music. Do what you can to make it special and different. Because I don't want to hear Rough Riders when I see a wrestler comes out. I don't want to hear all these famous songs. I want to know you before you come out. That's what I want. I feel like some people watch my matches, want to see the entrance, and then they're like, all right, we're good.
Well, it gets the fans hyped right away because your character's just so over. Obviously, like every show, like I do commentary for with you, whether it's BWF or if it's another show, your character's always so over. And the moment they hear the music, they're on their feet, they're clapping along, and they're going hallelujah with you. It's infectious. I call you a cult leader out there because it seems like that's who you are. You're a cult leader. You're leading these people to Lord knows what.
It's funny, you always say the cult leader thing. In my mind, I'm just leading them to praise. That's it. Whatever you got to do, man. Like, hallelujah just means praise the Lord. You figure out what you're doing with your praise. I know what I'm doing with mine.
That's funny. Obviously, BWF, I mean, we talk about off the air about, you not necessarily leaving early. You know, you never, because you're always towards like the later in the card or a lot of times main event as well. You brought eyes to the Cruiserweight division, especially BWF. You've definitely gotten a strong push. What goes into that?
I mean, just with that backstage thing, I feel like with wrestling on every level too. I think from the little 12-year-olds fighting in a park all the way up to Vince and the rest doing what needs to be done in the largest company. I don't want to call it petty, but I feel like it's very just like, this is what seems to work. Let's do it. Or I think this would work. Let's do it. For me, my first year at BWF, which I think a lot of people don't realize, I'm not inherently a BWF guy. I turned into one. I wasn't trained there. That's not my first home. But now that's who I'm considered as, for better or worse, usually for better. And I lost 10 out of 11 of my first matches at BWF. Like just straight losses. There's one win in the middle there, and then the Cruiserweight tournament happened. At the tournament, I won the championship. So that decision was almost kind of made due to how often I went to training, because I was training there at the time, how much I was helping other workers, showing up on time, leaving late. Just that was the decision makers just going, this is the guy who's working the hardest for this, and the crowd cares about him. So here you go. That's really all it was.
Is that always the case, though? Because how often do we see, people working hard, doing all the right things, getting over with the crowd, but they don't necessarily get that push. Just not necessarily a knock on you, but it was just saying, other people, they do put in the work. Not even just talking indie scene. You see, even in WWE, I mean, we've seen it with Zack Ryder time and time again, over with the crowd, putting in the work. Never got to push.
It's just a matter of getting the opportunity, because a lot of guys I didn't know I was winning the title that night. I found out not even 5 minutes before we went out. Like, I had no idea. I thought I was going to be in the Rumble when I was on my way to the show. I didn't know. It's really just a matter of them giving people an opportunity. They saw how the crowd reacted to me despite what was going on with booking. Like, I was losing. I was just there to put somebody else over. So they gave me the opportunity. I ran with it. And they kept booking around me. I got to give them great credit for just always just making sure I'm with quality people so that we can tell great stories. Chris Cage, loved that story. Don't not in love with the man. We had, that was a very real story, honestly.
How so?
That's pretty much a shoot tale, because he was the guy who was helping me when I first started wrestling in 2011. He was the one who was going through roles with me, bumps, him and Whiplash. They put me through everything. And when we started getting to know each other, we bumped heads a lot on everything, religion, politics, anything involving women, wrestling. We disagree on everything. So it's a very real story with that one. Me and Mantis, it was very real. We have a weird.
The chemistry in the ring, though, is off the charts, though. I mean, you guys told the story very well. It looks like the story is even evolving more so. But, your chemistry with Chris Cage, with Mantis, even. I feel like with anyone you've been in the ring with, Nikos Rikos, I mean, it's just off the charts.
Yeah, again, it's really just about the energy that people are putting through. I kind of do the same. The joke for a while is I always do the same thing when I hit the ring. But for me, from planning matches, everything, I just want to see what my person wants. And the minute I know what they want to do, I'm just going to plug in the Brother Greatness stuff. We don't need to do 1,000 Spanish flies and shooting star presses to make the crowd care. That's all I care about. The crowd needs to care, and I want my guy to feel like he got everything he wanted to do, not moves, just in terms of story, out for the world to see. And if you get both of those at the same time, you're always going to win.
I have to say, say what you will about what I say on commentary. I do respect the hell out of you, what you do in the ring. You do bring it time and time again. I hate to admit this. Especially to you, but I do look forward to seeing your matches anytime we go to BWF.
That's sweet, my brother. Next time I come, I'll pass you across on the way.
Oh, let's not go that far.
Me and you and Buddy, man, we're going to be the greatest commentary team ever, all three of us.
Well, the last show, actually, you did join me on commentary for a little bit there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun for a certain period of time. I was enjoying myself. They called me a snake. I'm like, what did I do?
Hey, you know what? I think of something right away, and I go with it.
Okay,
I call it as I see it. Now, Brother Greatness, kind of backtracking a bit, though, when you told you were getting that push, you said, you didn't even think you're going to be in that tournament. You thought you were going to be in a Rumble. What was going through your head?
I didn't have much time to have anything go through my head. I finished the second match. The final match against Mantis was coming up. I never met the guy. I've never seen him before in my life. He comes to the back. You know, Mantis is a tall guy, ripped. So I'm talking to his abs, pretty much. And, you know, Booker pulls me to the side and goes, hey, listen, you're winning. I'm like, I am? And then he goes, also, you're getting attacked. I'm like, I am? And then I get pulled again. So this is what you're getting attacked.
Oh, yeah, my boys attacked you. Satujin attacked you that night.
Yeah.
I do remember that. That was a great night.
Jaden gave me a Canadian destroyer. I'm like, I am not that large. You had so many other options. Why did you have to drill my head into the mat? Unnecessary.
Oh, man. You just bring back so many great memories there.
Yeah, but I didn't have time to think. By the time we didn't even call a match. Like, the music hit. I was like, oh, where's my flag? Like, there was nothing in my mind. Nothing went through my mind until all the segments and everything was over. Everyone was finally leaving the ring after the match and the assault and the promo after the assault and all this other stuff. And I just looked at the title. I see people starting to make their way out. I'm thinking the lights are going to turn on any second. And then it hit me, and I just started weeping like a baby. So.
Wow. You know, the same thing kind of happened with Dominic Dinero. Felt the same way. You know, didn't necessarily know what was going on into it. You know, we had our feelings that TJ Marconi was going to win, was going to retain, and next thing you know, I didn't even know too. Like, I took a spot from TJ afterwards. I'm down the ground, selling, and I hear 1, 2, 3, and I hear our music being played. I'm like, what? What's going on here? Is this a mistake? Go in there celebrating. It's like, all right, nothing's happened. We won. Dominic Dinero won. He's a new champion. It's just like surreal. You know,
yeah, and that's the word swerve. I had no clue either. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Sasujans for good reason, but Dom's a little different. Dom's first match was against me in FTW. Like, I've seen his entire journey for the most part. I mean, despite everything, like, just seeing him with singles gold and being the biggest one and in my home, yeah, that was really special, man.
No, absolutely. Same here, man. Like, there's some pictures of us celebrating around, and you see my face. Those are, like, true reactions right there. It's like shock, happiness. Like, is this real? It was awesome to see, and I can imagine it was probably the same for you after you won your Cruiserweight Championship there at BWF. But, you know, talking more about BWF in general, I mean, you know, you've been part of it for some time. I'm relatively newer to the game than you are as far as to the company. Walk us through the evolution of BWF.
BWF was around forever. Bronco was really just given an opportunity to young guys who wanted to be wrestlers to get trained to be wrestlers. Really with this level in mind, like not really thinking about them getting signed, just almost like a beat the streets kind of situation. You know, it's grown from that because after a while, BWF got kind of a sour reputation due to the fact that a lot of the kids there would go be like, yeah, I'm a trained wrestler, and try to play cute about it. And then sometimes they even find their way on a show. And you couldn't see that. It's like, you are not supposed to be there. And, you know, Bronco and all those who were involved at the time, like, evolved and started getting more quality people in. But then the shows were too long. Like, there were a lot of very small, more of a managerial list of issues. And then over the last, probably since, I'd say 2018, you start seeing the evolution because the management team had more help. That's really all it was. It was just more help to make things happen, putting on great commentary. You know, shout out to Buddy.
Whoa.
No offense, Matt.
Oh, man. I'm hurt. I have feelings too, you know.
He's very snazzy. But long story short, there's just been such a paradigm shift because previously it just wasn't as much management. There were too many matches. You had too many people who found a way on the roster who honestly weren't ready to compete. Now a lot of the fat has been cut. It's a lot more focused. The people who are there are driven and really want the company as a whole to grow, not just themselves. And I think you see that a lot. Be it Strong, with the Sasujans, with Nikos Ricos, you know, a lot of the people who are there every single show, put on their best face. They're from the start to the end of the show. I mean, it's a whole paradigm shift, and I think it's heavily underrated. It upsets me heavily because right now in New York, there's a whole bunch of shows that happen out of Elks Lodge. No disrespect to any of them, but in New York, in New York City at least, you know, no disrespect to Long Island or upstate or anything, but it's really Hog, Warriors, and BWF. Like, those are really, we know BCW's in Jersey now. So Those are the three right now. Hog, amazing, awesome. They bring in amazing names, great talent, best show in New York, blah, blah, blah. How often are they running? Warriors, bringing great names. They're running in Brooklyn, Staten Island. It's great. Some shows are really, really good. Some shows, BWF, every time you have come to a show in the last 2 years, with very rare exception, has been really knock out the park. Full shows. Josh Glide's return sold the place out. Had to send 35 people on home because most of them came to see Josh Glide. Like, it's a huge paradigm shift. And I think if it was anywhere except for the Bronx, I feel like people would be praising it as though it was the level of HOG or as though it was Warriors on its best day.
That's interesting.
I sincerely believe that. Anyone could take me to task on that. Anyone can take me to task on that. I would be the first one to run my mouth about it.
I believe that too, actually. Like, someone actually had a conversation with me about BWF and was singing our praises actually quite a bit. And they compared us actually to NWA. And I felt that. I felt like that was a good comparison because, we do have that closeness there. As far as, like, we don't have necessarily a big arena, a big space, but, we have that almost like a studio space there.
Yeah.
And
yes, it's intimate.
And it's intimate. It's storytelling. It's great action in the ring. Even how Danny Walsh shoots it, too. I mean, it just screams professional.
Absolutely.
And, I love BWF. It's become a home to me. I never thought I would call the Bronx home, especially a boy coming from Long Island.
I'm a Brooklyn boy, man. Calling the Bronx home hurts a little bit sometimes.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird,
yeah,
but here we are. It's just I'm glad, people that come, people know about BWF. They know what's up. They know what they're getting in for, and I feel like every show just grows and grows and grows. So the product's still the same. I think the product's still the same, but you're getting great storytelling and getting great action in the ring. But I think storytelling goes a long way. It's stuff that you don't necessarily see in other promotions.
Yeah, a lot of promotions, they'll tell stories with whoever runs the show, maybe their top guy, maybe a name's going to be around for 6 months or something. You'll do something with them, and even with that, it's usually not that deep. The Bronx Wrestling Federation really only has one person you can call a name, in Steve Mack. That's about it. Like, the rest of it, no disrespect to any of us, including myself, but we're not TV guys, we're not indie legends. We're workers who've been around for a certain amount of years, have busted our butts, went to several different schools, all congregated to BWF for some reason or the other. And we can't just say, hey, listen, Scorpio Sky is going to be here. Like, that's not happening with us. You're not going to get, Escape from New York, you never know. But with the exception of that show, it's just so-and-so's return. Brother Greatness and Nikos are killing each other. Tyree and Mac are actually killing each other. Like, it's as you said, it's all story-driven stuff. And if you become invested in their work, and I work everywhere. I don't only work BWF now. I'm in Jersey. I'm in Delaware. I'm all over the place. But with these people, every single segment is driven by story. Especially in the women's division, Cruiserweight, the tag, everyone. Everyone has something.
Yeah, and I think that's what keeps people coming back, because with great storytelling, how can you not help fall in love with these characters?
If I was a fan, I would want to be at BWF every month. I think my biggest issue would be like, whoa, one, I'm in the Bronx, and two, all right, when the show start and end, because I got stuff to do.
And again, I have to say, with the crowd, it's growing. Like the last couple of shows we've had, few shows we had, have been sold out, standing room only. Which is phenomenal.
Kicking people out. So literally sending money away. That's amazing.
So the word is getting around. Like, BWF is the place to be. And I'm just so glad for them.
Imagine if we become one of the larger places on the independent scene, like on the level of a Beyond and Northeast Wrestling. I won't bring up CZW right now. But, just on that kind of totem pole,
So then what brought you there?
It was kind of a mix of two things. At the time, I was at FTW. You pay like a yearly, you don't pay it yearly up front, but you do a whole contract thing with them when you're part of their school, blah, blah, blah. So I had a lot of personal stuff going on. I did not want to be lined out in a contract. I just finished my previous one, but I needed to train because I was starting to wrestle other places. So I said, you know what? The Bronx is the only place that you can just show up, pay a ring fee. If you're already a trained professional wrestler, get your reps in. And, go on about your business. So I went one day before the anniversary show. I forget what year it is at this point. I think 2017. And I see Bronco. Bronco's there like, hey, that's you know how Bronco speaks. I'm doing my thing, laughing, carrying on, but really working hard, about 3 hours of work. He pulls me to the side. He goes, hey, tomorrow there's an anniversary show. You want to work? You got gear? I'm like, I do, sir. So, I came the next day to the Battle Royal. and I worked every single Bronx show from then on.
Wow. Brother Greatness, we talk about being the guy. In WWE, we see two tops talent, step away. So Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch pretty much back to back. In a locker room, when you see that, when you see the top guy or woman go down, what goes through your mind as a talent?
I'm trying to think if I really got to experience that. Maybe, with TJ's heart situation, I guess would probably be the closest thing. But honestly, I think for me personally, I don't know if it's the same for everyone else. My thought process is go out, do your job, stay present for opportunity. So if the top guy goes down, it doesn't really change anything for me in terms of like what I have to do in terms of work, because the top guy wasn't doing the work I was doing, and I'm not going to go out there and act all of a sudden like I'm doing what he does, because it wouldn't be authentic. My job is simple: connect with the crowd and put on a good wrestling match and do everything that's important prior to that, promos, whatever promotional stuff needs to be done, etc.
Does it change
the top guys there or not? Doesn't matter.
Does it change the vibe in the locker room though? Does it become more competitive when you're vying for that spot?
Yeah, a little bit, because you'll get a few guys who kind of just let it be known. It's like, oh, well, I guess I have to take care of the situation. Everyone just kind of like, shut up. The guys who want those spots or deserve those spots know that they're next in line. So all you really see is maybe the people, like the younger guys like myself and Pryor, might turn to like the guys who we know are about to be, the next face or what have you, and just say, hey, listen, I'm having my match third. Can you look at it? Give me some pointers. So that's probably the biggest change. Who are you going for advice now?
Interesting.
And that usually tells you who's going to be the big dog now.
It's almost like there's already a second person in place to take over that spot. From my
I think it's not spoken, but it's just kind of understood. It's like, oh yeah, that's the dude.
Yeah, because politics always are involved, and not just wrestling, but anything. But we all know wrestling is very political.
Absolutely. I mean, you called me a politician last show, but we won't talk about that.
Do you just write down everything I say? I forget all this stuff.
I recall, my brother. I forgive. I can't not forget.
So I'm getting underneath Brother Greatness' skin. Yes, you made my day.
I wouldn't say under my skin, but you're definitely in my cerebellum.
The fact that you remember this, it means I'm getting underneath your skin. You just say it. I'm getting underneath your skin.
Whatever you say, brother, man. I plead the fifth on that one. 3+2. I'm good.
I take it then, either you have an insane memory or you do watch back your matches quite a bit.
I watch back as much as I have time to anything I do. I make sure I see it. There's certain guys I don't want to miss their stuff, certain guys and gals, but I try to watch everything back for the promotions that I'm like in love with, for lack of a better term. BWF, Test of Strength in Connecticut. I'll watch back everything that happens there, because I consider myself just like part of the family. I'm not just there to work. I'm part of their success and their failure. So I'm going to watch the entire show, see what's happening. Call somebody, be like, sir, what did you do?
When you watch back, you watch it for entertainment purposes? You're watching it to give insight, or are you watching to learn? Like, what are you watching for?
Probably a little bit of all. I think the biggest thing for me is just understanding where the crowd is for places like that. That's probably the biggest thing, the reason I watch a show start to finish on our level. It's hard to study people who are on your level, because they're going to make the mistakes you make. They'll do the same right things you do. So that's a little difficult, but I like to see what the crowd is going through. So it's like, what are they reacting to? What are they booing? How do they feel? And it kind of dictates what I kind of want to do on later shows, or how I want to present myself. So I'm like, okay, they reacted cool to, like, Nikos came out with the Star Wars thing. The reaction was like so-and-so. I know there's a reason for it. Let me change this about my appearance. How about I come out with the robe instead of the flag? How about I do that? And just see what I'm playing with, what color schemes they seem to be reacting to despite the wrestler. So it's like, oh, they like purple right now. I'm going to come out in purple. And it's weird to say, but I've literally done that on the anniversary show. I came out in purple because I saw that they had a weird reaction towards, I think it was something different Karen was wearing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And this color psychology. So just trying to pick up what's going on with the crowd. Then probably secondarily would be learning. And entertainment purposes, the only people I watch for entertainment, to be completely honest, is Too Good. Because they are hilarious.
Oh my god! It's just like, you and Too Good. It's just a whole group of annoying individuals.
They are hilarious. their interviews and promos are hilarious, no matter how you feel about them. Me and Ace don't get along, but he is hilarious.
Listen, sometimes it takes a lot for me to like not smile a little bit after what they say, but you know, it still grinds my gears the fact that I lost that bet and I had to wear that stupid Too Good t-shirt on all my social media platforms, so I'm still bitter about that.
It looks good on you, though.
Oh, shut your mouth.
I'm just saying.
All right, well, I was having a good time, but now I'm going to cut the interview short. I just want to see, though, for fans listening, where can they find you on social media?
Social media, you want to find me, Brother Greatness. Type that in on YouTube. I will pop up. There is a full YouTube channel. Brother Greatness via Facebook. Brother Greatness 2012, the year I started wrestling. So Brother Greatness 2012 for Instagram. Be Greatness 27 for the Twitter. You can even email me if you have something pertinent. brothergreatness@gmail.com. I accept bookings, prayer requests, anything like that. Please feel free to shoot that over. Say those are the big ones, yeah?
Well, Brother Greatness, cheers to you. You going to stay around for last call?
Absolutely.
Damn, I was hoping you would say no, but here we are. We're going to do that.
You know, Buddy would want me to.
I know, he would. Speaking of which, all right, back to the studio with Putty.
This is Brother Greatness. Thank you for listening, but we are not done yet. Stay tuned until the end of this episode for Last Call.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
I was clearly quarantined for too long because I got along very well there with Brother Greatness, as you can see.
He's an easy guy to get along with. I don't know what your problem is with him. Hope you apologize.
Kudos to you, Mark. Kudos to you.
Hey, listen, clearly Brother Greatness, he listens very much so to our commentary because he hasn't forgotten anything I said. But, you know, much respect to him, and I thank him for coming on to our show, especially for such an important episode.
Let's transition somehow to the TV. Mark, the floor is yours.
All right, so TV Takedown. All right, so...
You sound really excited about this.
Yeah, because honestly, how often do I choose NXT? How often do I go to NXT for my TV Takedown of the week? Guys, there's no other moment that stood out to me the most other than this moment when Drake Maverick received his contract from Triple H. It was so genuine.
Yeah.
And I hear people like, yeah, dude, this is a work. Clearly this is a work. I don't necessarily think it was a work. I think Drake Maverick, I think, was really fired. And just, you know, the attention came to his impassioned speech that he made on social media about it.
Yeah.
It got a lot of attention. And then, you know, Drake Maverick, you see week after week after week. It may have not been my TV Takedown moments, but it came very close to every single one of them because of his passion that he came out of the ring. When he said in his promo on Twitter that, you know, he's going to give you his very best because it might be the last time he's in that ring, it showed. It showed every time he was out there. And I'm glad he made it to the finals. I'm actually kind of glad in the way he didn't win the championship. But
that would have made it seem like a work.
That would have made it seem like work. But, man, what a touching and genuine moment there from Triple H and classy move from WWE, whoever decision it was to give him that contract.
Well,
and I hope to see more of Drake Maverick in this capacity.
Triple H said the story behind it was they actually did release him, but they already announced him for the tournament. So they gave him the option. Do you still want to continue? He goes, yes, I still want to continue. So they paid him per appearance, off contract, and he won everybody over. Awesome.
Yeah, it was well done by him. I mean, it was really sink or swim for Drake Maverick.
Yeah.
And, man, he really showed up. Again, I want to see more of this. I want to see more of that fire from him as an in-ring competitor.
I like Drake Maverick. He was a fun character in Impact. I didn't watch too much of it back then, but I was happy he came to WWE. But then they gave him that general manager job. They gave him like side gigs. They gave him the joke with the 24 title. They didn't give him like a real shot to show what he can do in the ring. That was a problem with Leo Rush. They never gave him the platform to show what he can do in the ring. Because look what happens when they do. Drake Maverick's
right.
He had great matches in the whole tournament. I've seen the last, I think, 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, and he was awesome. He's good in the ring. Now hopefully that this storyline is over, it continues. He continues to give him a shot, give him a chance to
or maybe they even still create this into a storyline, you know, as far as like, you know, oh, you had to cry your way into a contract or something, you know. I mean, it'll be good. It'll be good. I mean, you think about it. You can't fuck with that being a heel.
Yeah, I would actually. You know, the baby crybaby story angle, probably, yeah.
Right? I mean, like, you can still play off the emotion.
Yeah.
We as fans, we want our hearts to be tugged, and this is what we got. I want more, man. I want more.
I agree. I'm gonna agree with Mark. My wrestling takedown moment, NXT. Drake Maverick versus El Hijo de Fantasma. And I believe that was an awesome match. Good feel moment, you know, with the Triple H, with the signing of the contract. Again, me being critical of the E, I'm going to say, hey, Drake, before you signed, you should have looked at the contract.
Same thing. It's funny.
I was kind of thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yes, you just don't have somebody walk up and say, sign here, because you don't know what the hell you're signing.
Yeah, right? That's funny.
You just signed the right to your firstborn child. Damn it!
Yeah. Vince McMahon now owns his soul for the rest of his life. I don't know what he signed, but you know, the match definitely a great match. That's my wrestling takedown.
I have to pay you per appearance?
Oh my god. NJP, what was yours?
2 real quick ones. Something I've talked about throughout the course of the show. Anytime I talk about something on the show, it happens on WWE TV, and we always start the joke that they're actually listening to our show. Anything we talk about or mention, they either talk about it on the show or we see it come to fruition on the show a couple weeks later, maybe months later.
Okay.
So, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned how I asked you guys, is Impact's women's division the best right now in the industry? And both of you guys agree?
We talked about that.
You guys agree with me?
Yes, we did.
And ever since the new TV tapings, that's all I hear about on Impact is Impact's women's division is the best in the round, the best in the business right now is Impact's women's division. Impact's women's division is the place to be. And like, is somebody from Impact listening to my show as well? Please let me know. Hit me up at MugsJPutty. Dial it up 619-343-3005.
Can I answer that for you?
Yeah.
Can I answer that for you?
Please.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Just great timing.
Sometimes it's great timing, and sometimes is if you look at it, I know for a fact, I'm going to tell you right now, for the fact, the WWE Creative over in Stamford, Connecticut, when they're on their office, when they're writing stuff, or they're sitting in front of their computer, they are watching stuff from YouTube. They watch a lot of independent stuff. They watch a lot of talent that's out there. Come on. You think these guys are that much of a brilliant genius and every idea, I thought of that? No, they take piece from piece. It's smart of them. It is. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that the WWE, when somebody from Creative has listened to a shot of wrestling. Yes, that's happened. I had a WWE Creative guy reach out because he saw some content of me at the time when I was the definition of authority and sexiness. And a referee that works for him said, you happen to know this guy, he works for this. I know who the promoter is. Legendary Action Wrestling, a company that Mark Schwann started, baby. and Frankie called me and said, hey, somebody was asking for you at the WWE, right?
Nice.
Long and behold, I get a phone call. You probably know this MJP, I've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to the guy. He's like, hey, he was like, I like your character. I like how you do it, blah, blah, blah. Give me some feedback. But they watch. Trust me. They watch. So, hey, maybe they saw your great idea that you were talking about. And I said, hey, maybe we're getting a lot of feedback on it and changing it up. But to answer your question on a serious note, trust me, creative groups like the WWE, they watch.
Apparently, now Impact does as well. And my main takeaway was, with all the heaviness, all the seriousness, all the sadness going on, my takeaway was, I think for the first time, we all in agreement, the happiness, the good feel moment of Drake Maverick getting signed to NXT contract. Well-deserved. Nice moment. And it was just highlight of the week. It was great. It's something that we needed right now. A positive story, and we got it.
Well said, buddy. I think that's why it was the first time ever, like, all three of us agree on a TV takedown. Just because, we need some positivity right now in any shape or form. And, to see a man whose dreams were taken away from him to give it right back tenfold, I mean, that's amazing. And the reaction, listen, Drake Maverick would have to take a lot of acting classes for that reaction to be fake. I believe that was truly genuine on his part.
Yeah.
And, I got chills when I saw that.
At the end of Impact, also, they released a video montage supporting Slammiversary, one of their biggest pay-per-views. And the video was of all the superstars that released. So they showed Drake Maverick, EC3, the Rusev Bulgarian flag. So now everyone's wondering who's going to come over from the WWE.
And they did it in the same kind of style that WWE's been doing with their hacker, if you will.
I didn't put two and two together, but that's a good point.
It makes me think, was the hacker released as well? Whoever was supposed to be the hacker? Was that one of the cuts?
We won't know.
Or is Impact just playing with us?
But I didn't notice the Bulgarian flag, and I think Impact with Rusev was a good fit, so I'm hoping that's the guy they talk about.
Now, Rusev, I mean, he took a stupid gimmick and made it completely over with Rusev Day. He's a great talent. He's someone that company... Was it
him, or was it Aiden English who did that? I think Aiden English singing it, because he's the one who put it together, first said it out loud. I think give the credit to Aiden English on that one.
You may have a point. You might have a point there, but ultimately, Rusev is the one that was about it. He's the one that helped get that over as well with what he did in the ring. There's no one that's denying that Rusev is a phenomenal competitor inside that ring.
He just cut a bunch of weight. He's in the best shape of his life.
Right. Yeah. It's just I am shocked that man did not have a run as a champion, as a world champion in WWE. But wherever he goes, whether it's Impact, AEW, New Japan, wherever, that man's going to be a star.
That's what I heard. Everyone has something negative to say, and it fucking pisses me off. The rumor is WWE wants to re-sign a lot of the people they released. They didn't release them because they wanted to. They released them for budget reasons. Right. They want to re-sign a lot of people at a much smaller contract. So now everyone's assuming Drake Maverick signed for much less than he's worth. I'm like, who cares? His dream is to be in WWE. He's got it. His foot's in the door. Let him be. Enjoy this moment. Why do you got to shit on this? I don't understand why people got to shit on every fucking thing.
There's always negativity out there, buddy. There's always negativity.
But who cares how much he's getting paid?
I do.
Okay, well,
I do.
Different point of view.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. I do. I mean, I'm sorry. I think the WWE has enough money to pay. Okay. Though they're not a company. Yes, have they lost money? Have not making the same revenues? I say, but to release what? To release all these guys now to talk about, we'll bring you back, but at a lower scale? No. ROH managed to keep paying their guys. Did you know that?
No.
ROH
keep paying their guys. AEW keep paying their guys.
And also, AEW brought in new talent, too. They brought in, during this pandemic, they brought in Matt Hardy, they brought in Brody Lee, they brought in FTR.
I think Vinnie Mac needs to calm down. I think he was being way too frugal. I think he's way stupid. And to be honest, guys, the guys who he furloughed, maybe he wants to bring them back because he doesn't want them to get signed now and picked up right now. That might be the issue. That's it.
Honestly, that could be the issue, too, yeah.
Come on. Honestly, the WWE has so much money. They do. I mean, I know he was trying to make some smart moves because he wasn't sure what's going on. But let's be real. How many of these top corporations? What was the thing? $3 trillion that was paid out to the top corporations. I'm sure the WWE. Yeah, I think the WWE got a portion of that. I'm sorry. So give me a break, Vinnie Mac. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna bring anybody back, Vinnie back. That's a song, right? But
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. If you're gonna bring anybody back, bring them back at the same salary, the same whatever you brought them back. Don't come and nickel and dime these people, especially now.
That's a rumor. Okay? We don't know if that's fact or not. But I mean, it's easily believable to be a rumor.
Well, you know what? Now I'm pissed off. I might write that in my next column.
Well, Eric's
stirring up the pot.
Eric's pissed off. I think that means it's time to get in some go-home thoughts. Mark?
Absolutely, brother. All right, so you heard us talk about this a few times here. We have a promotion going on with Jedi Jack Yeti, which you can find on Instagram. The wrestling stickers. I've never been the biggest wrestling sticker guy in general, just stickers overall, but these are really badass designs. They have a new one they just launched of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, besides Eric Jaden, is Shawn Michaels, and dude, it looks 3D. It looks like spot on. It's a work of art here. Again, from us to you guys, SOW25. That's the code you put on there for any purchases of $10 or more, and you get 25% off these stickers here. So check that out on their Instagram, Jedi Jack Yeti. One more thing I want to say before we move on, though. I do have a new show coming out for Shot of Wrestling. We're going to promote our YouTube page, and you can find that at Shot of Wrestling. Shot of Wrestling actually on all social media platforms. And the new show, it's going to be called Inside the Match, where basically what we do is, and Eric Jaden, he's going to be a guest on this as well. is we take your favorite indie wrestlers, and I sit down with them, and we break down their matches. They were some of their favorite matches that they had that meant the most. That meant a lot to them and their careers. So we break that down, we analyze it, we react, and we just have a good time. And that's that's going to be launching on YouTube. It's going to be Wednesday mornings, and I think it's going to be out in a couple weeks. So we have a couple more interviews coming out, and yeah, be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Look forward to it. Eric?
Rough week, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Like we spoke before, the news article has been coming out great. Please support it. You could email the Rockaway Times or look them up on the website, and they have a direct contact in there. Tell them how much you like the article, and to keep me getting ongoing. Guys, man, I just want to say real quick a little quick prayer so we can end the show. Okay. If you guys with me,
sure.
Lord Jesus Christ, we pray for you to give us guidance. We pray for you to show us the way. We also pray for forgiveness. Forgive all the destruction, all the violence that's been going on. We know, Lord, that you're watching, and we ask that you please help us get through these tough times, because we definitely need your love. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Well said, Jaden.
Thank you. Follow me and Eric Jaden, Facebook, Twitter. Follow the Bad Guys Instagram at Bad Guys Sexiness, and on A Shot of Wrestling on all platforms.
Well said, Mark.
That was Jaden.
Yeah, no, I can't follow that, so we're going to wrap the show.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You can find me on yourfavoriteactor.com. All my social media platforms are on there. And anyone listening to our podcast, please make sure to give us a review. If we get 5 stars if possible, that would help us out, go a long way. And Putty, what about you, man?
I went to willferrell.com. You weren't there, so I don't know what you're talking about, my favorite actor. I don't know what you're talking about.
Not a shot.
That's
We're going to come to blows
week.
one day, man. We're going to come to blows.
Episode 212 is in the books. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to Brother Greatness for your time. I've been your host at Michael J. Putty. Until next week, wash your hands. Don't touch your face. The pandemic's still going on. And please, take care of each other. Putty out.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh. Welcome back, everyone, to Last Call. I am here with Brother Greatness. This is going to be an interesting one, man. I've never done with Last Call with somebody I don't like before. So.
Lovely. You're always a sweetheart.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Yes, sir, my brother.
All right. So, Brother Greatness, what is the first thing you notice in a person?
First thing I notice? Their facial movements in terms of their overall reaction. You can tell a lot when you look in someone's eyes, like, what are they looking at? What are they focused on? You get everything between how they feel about the situation they're in, and based on that, you figure out who they may be as an individual prior to the first word they said.
Damn, that's deep. So next, what is the worst injury you've ever had?
I broke my skull in 2014. It was we just call it like a training incident, but I took an elbow to the center of my head, cracked my skull, nice fracture, mostly to the left side, took a major surgery, and I was out for about 2.5 years. I didn't think I was going to wrestle again. Easily the worst injury I've ever had.
Damn. Wow. That's pretty bad. Even I feel bad for you.
I mean, there's a reason I'm coming out screaming hallelujah.
I understand that now. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote, that's, we fall down, but we get back up.
Hell yeah. I think that's actually something much needed right now. What's the worst insult you've ever received? I hope it's me. I hope it's from me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know you're definitely 2, 4, and 6. I think you're definitely up there. Calling me a snake is pretty rough, brother.
What's number one, then? What's number one if it's not me?
Probably from Miss J.L. Cotto. It wasn't anything that was verbally stated. She sent a picture of the big Champa from Mario 64 and a picture of me with my mouth agape, just like the stupid thing. I I try to turn the other cheek, but I was heavily offended. That woman comes for me violently like she's you on commentary.
I feel like she comes for everyone. I haven't suffered her wrath yet, but I've seen her remarks, and she's vicious.
Yeah, she's rough. I mean, she's vicious. Don't call her Vicky, but JL is something else.
She definitely is. What's your biggest pet peeve?
I cannot stand tardiness.
Ooh.
I can't do it. If you want to see Brother Greatness not act so brotherly or so great, just plan to meet me someplace at 7 and show up at 8:35. It's going to be a problem.
So how do you handle the wrestling locker room? There's always someone that's late.
Yeah, that's why I'm usually all sweaty and going crazy by the time I walk into the locker room. I mean, if you have the time, speak to Greg Jones, Dash D1000, Karen Bam Bam, Talia Jeanette, and just ask them, like, tell me about a Brother Greatness car ride and tell me if you've ever been late. Trust me, they have felt my wrath.
You're throwing him underneath the bus then. Jesus. What is your favorite channel?
Is that current or past? Like, it
all
can
time.
be anything?
All time.
All time? UPN 9.
UPN 9 going old school.
UPN, man. I had the Parkers and watch Thursday Night SmackDown right after that. It was a beautiful situation.
For those that are new to the wrestling game, Thursday Night SmackDown was the original programming on UPN 9.
The more you know, get the little rainbow.
You know. Who was your childhood idol growing up?
I don't know if this counts as growing up because it's more of a teenager thing, but I loved Chris Rock.
Okay.
I stole so many of his quotes. Like I think he's the greatest comedian. He tells you the truth.
Did you see his latest one on Netflix?
Yeah, Tambourine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little soft, and I didn't really like his what he had to say with respect to Christianity and Christ. I wasn't a big fan of that part.
Okay.
He had some big W's in that. I just got to fast forward about 20 minutes. Starts talking about the church a certain kind of way.
Now, what's your favorite wrestling move other than your own?
Honestly, man, probably a good old-fashioned teardrop suplex. I love a good teardrop suplex. You don't see it a lot.
I haven't seen a good one in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Michael's had a beautiful one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was his finisher for a reason, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. You'll see Benoit and Angle throw those out. Taz had a variation of it too. Like just a beautiful suplex. No one ever does it. Everyone wants to just run straight into a German. Nah, that awkward landing on the neck, the arch, the way the hits have to shoot out. It's like the perfect wrestling move.
I haven't even seen it on the indie scene.
Never happens. I think I've literally executed one ever in Connecticut in front of 20 people. It's a beautiful super. It was against Karen Bam Bam, so that's special.
Oh wow, yeah, those 20 people were in for a treat there. Now, Brother Greatness, describe to me your perfect day.
Wake up, hour-long workout. Let's get like a 1 hour long church service, not a Catholic church service, like a Baptist one. A lot of music, a lot of excitement. Me and my girl jumping in the car, driving down to anywhere warm, have a wrestling match, leave early, which I never get to do, and then go out and have breadfruit cuckoo and flying fish.
Okay.
Me and my lady. That would probably be the way to go.
You just painted me a pretty nice picture there. I'm not going to lie. I dig that.
Praise the Lord. Get some wrestling done. Good food, good company.
Hell yeah, man. Now with that, actually I do have a bonus question for you. Because we're both Jets fans. Who is your favorite Jet of all time?
I feel like a lot of people agree with me on this. Thomas Jones.
All right, respect. He was a workhorse for us for quite a bit.
Absolutely. I absolutely loved his running style. I felt like you should just keep the rock in that man's hands, man. Love Thomas Jones.
All right, Brother Greatness. That's all the time we have for today. I hate you just a little less now after this. So for everyone else that was listening, be sure to stay tuned for next week for another episode of Shot of Wrestling.
Hallelujah.
Hey baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah baby, but I got you pinned. Ha 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.